We're live though. All right, cool, awesome. Let's do this, man. Let's do this. So Melinda's not with us right now. I feel like feel a little bit naked without her here, man. It's awkward, but we're gonna make it a fun time right here. So I truly appreciate you joining us, and we're gonna go over some good stuff, guys. Thank you for attending. So I'll start with this. My name is Anthony Angelillo, and I've been in the business now for about 17 years. I'm the CEO founder of Tag Team Nation LLC. I'm also branch manager of Paramount Residential Mortgage Group over here in Miami Shores. And the reason why Melinda and myself started Damage Control, episode 22, is to alleviate all of the pain points that real estate agents, lenders, title agents, insurance agents deal with on a daily basis. And we had many of those yesterday. We've got 10 closings this week. So we're having an amazing week right now. And we're blessed to really kick some serious butt. But with all those closings comes a lot of challenges. So we wanted to share you obviously the damage that we always control on a daily basis. I know Melinda had 4 closings yesterday before she obviously went into her detached vacation mode, which is much needed. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce you to Gabriella. She is very extraordinary on LinkedIn. She's got a massive amount of followers on LinkedIn on her personal page and business. So that's obviously cross-pollinating, and she's doing extremely well with LinkedIn. So we're going to learn via a PowerPoint presentation on how she derives business and how she's kicking serious butt. So with that, Gabriella, want to introduce?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Hello, everybody, and thank you for taking your time to come here and learn and try to improve the way you do business. And of course, this is such an important topic because, as all of you know, we are in a digital era, right? And everybody's on their phone, everybody's on social media. So we need to keep up with technology and make sure that we are showing up for people at the right places at the right time. So this is why it's important to learn how to leverage all these free tools that we have in social media and how can we use them to attract more clients, right? So with that being said, let me share my screen with you so I can share my presentation.
I love the lion. That's Adam's favorite animal.
Yeah, I
We
love lions.
nicknamed him the lion.
There we go. Okay, can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it. Awesome.
Perfect. So let's take your business to the next level. A little bit about myself. My name is Gabriela Aparicio, but most of you know me as Gabby if you know me personally. And I am a licensed realtor with eXp Realty in Florida. I've been in real estate for 4 years. I am an international real estate agent. I also represent projects outside of the country, deal with buyers and sellers in Central and South Florida, and I specialize in marketing, branding, and social media. So thank you for being here, and it's nice to meet you.
Gabriella, speak
Yeah.
up a little bit louder. I know you were having some difficulties with your sound. That way, I think
Yes.
yeah, okay, awesome.
Okay.
Let's do this.
So why LinkedIn, right? As we know, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, but why LinkedIn? Well, one of the reasons professionals love LinkedIn is because it's pretty much business oriented. There's no pictures of pets, of what someone had for lunch, relationship status, family matters. You know how it gets on Facebook, right? Very personal. Sometimes you don't want to hear it, you don't want to listen to it, but you have your friends, you have your family, you have everybody there, right? But the difference with LinkedIn is who's in LinkedIn. LinkedIn is composed by people who are professionals who are looking to expand their network with other trusted professionals. So let's look at a little bit of the demographic of the people on LinkedIn. The majority, which is 77%, are age 30 and older. Okay. Nearly half earn more than 75,000 per year. Half of LinkedIn's users are college graduates. 90% of the users make household decisions. And if you see these demographics, they really align very well with NAR's profile for the average home seller and buyer. So if you see
That's
these
awesome.
characteristics, you see it's a lot more detailed than anybody and everybody that has a Facebook or Instagram account, because who doesn't have a Facebook or Instagram account is much more personal So even kids have it, right? So you, sometimes if you run ads on Facebook or on Instagram, they might not be as successful because you're pitching, especially now that Facebook removed all these filters.
And you see that's more challenging now?
That the audience you're probably hitting is not really that specific. So here it's much more specific, and you know the quality of the leads you're gonna get is a lot more of what you're looking for.
So let me stop you right there. Let me ask you one question here. So number one, where is the source coming from? And number two, the 75,000 per year is amazing because that's a sweet spot in terms of our industry, like you just said. That's deadly. So, you know, in terms of target marketing, that demographics, I would be definitely target marketing someone that's making $75,000 a
Exactly.
year, because that's going to help out with the, you know, inventory right now in the state of Florida being so challenging when borrowers are making less than that right now. So that's
Exactly.
good stuff, man. That's really good stuff.
Absolutely. So this come from a study that was done in between lead conversions in between the major platform social media platforms. And so it's great information to know. Also, of course, you know, like business is a professional social media platform. So you know that people that are here, they got a job. They're not just people that are lounging in the couch,
Yeah,
scrolling through their Instagram or their Facebook. You know, these are professionals. So
yeah.
that's what really differentiates LinkedIn from the other social media platforms, and why is it so important that you are active here on LinkedIn. Okay.
Now you're on all the platforms, not just LinkedIn, right?
I am. I
Okay.
am. I am.
All right.
And I'm gonna dive into a little bit of the content that I post on different platforms so you can understand a little bit of the difference. But we'll go over it in a little bit. So you created first, let me stop right here, and I want to know how many of you have a LinkedIn account already. Type one if you have one, and type two, a number two, if you don't have a LinkedIn account. Let me see.
Many. We got George, we got JP, Kevin, or Ken, I should say. Everyone's got a LinkedIn account. I would hope you guys have a LinkedIn account, man.
Now, out of the ones that said you do have a LinkedIn account, type one if you're active on it, and type two if you're not really utilizing it as much.
Interesting.
What are we
Very
getting?
interesting. We're getting 1212. I feel like this is binary code.
Cool.
Instead
So
of
for
the
those
zero
of you
ones.
who are not really active or don't know where to start, who should you connect with on LinkedIn? Who is on LinkedIn that it's beneficial to you as a real estate agent, right? Well, you can find here home builders, you can find construction companies, you can find HR professionals who have to love to help and have to help new employees find housing. You also find relocation service professionals. You have here financial advisors, you have attorneys, you have investors, you have wealth managers, you have other realtors in different cities that could you could partner up with, different cities and states. And of course, you have buyers and sellers. All of these people need to buy a home or live in a home anyway, right? So they're all potential clients to you. They're all on LinkedIn. So you need to make sure that you're making the right connections, right?
So the first step is to get an account and start being active on it.
Correct. Then who should you add? And this is the list of people you should have on your LinkedIn and start connecting with.
So
So
let's
this is
see
where it
here.
gets interesting, right? Getting down to business. Look at the lead conversion difference. LinkedIn boasts a 2.74% visitor to lead conversion rate compared to Facebook's 0.77% and Twitter's 0.69%. LinkedIn is positively huge. In fact, according to HubSpot number crunching, LinkedIn's conversion rate is 277 times higher than Facebook. You see
Let me
why?
stop. Let me stop you there, Gabriela. So number one, are you using HubSpot? Which CRM do you use?
No, I actually use KV Core.
Right, because I use HubSpot and I love HubSpot and I built
So
out
look,
HubSpot. So
this is
that's
coming
amazing.
from a study made from HubSpot, which is the CRM that you use. So you understand how perfect that works. And they have done a study. And imagine all of the leads coming from LinkedIn are 277 times higher conversion rate than Facebook.
That's awesome, man. That's
Imagine that. So this
amazing.
is good information, right? Great numbers to know. Getting started on LinkedIn, like we said, this is steps to it, right? So of course, the first step is to create a compelling profile, right? Another important thing to do is to use the same image across all your social media platforms. This will help you reinforce your branding. Remember, recognition, branding. They gotta know when they see their logo. Oh, that's Gabby, right? Oh, when they see that your picture, that's Gabby because I use the same picture in all my platforms. So no matter where you find me, you're gonna recognize that's me, right? So make sure that you're using the same picture across all your social media platforms. Okay. Then another thing to pay attention to is your professional headline, your job title, right? The headline on your LinkedIn profile page gets the most attention from viewers. So make sure that includes what you do and any niche you specialize on and your location. So for example, if I specialize in luxury real estate, right? So it's Gabriela Aparicio, realtor, luxury realtor in Orlando or in Miami, whatever wherever you're at, make sure that you're very specific. The more it says your job title, the more it describes, the more engagement you will have because they will know exactly what you do, right? Create a good and relatable profile summary for others to get to know you. So this is where you will get more into detail of who you are, how long you've been in the business, any specialties you may have, and anything you want, information you want to provide on your bio, right? And last, post consistently. You need to
And
post
how many times do you post, Gabriella, on a daily basis?
on a daily basis. Really, I post more of a week. And on Instagram, see, there's a difference, and we're gonna get to it on how to be how active you should be on your different social media platforms. For example, obviously Instagram and Facebook, now that you can link them together, you can share your story, not really post and like spam people through your through a post. But if they're so interested in knowing to know getting to know a little bit more about you and your business, they can look at your story, right? And then you should
Yeah.
post every day. I post multiple times on my story every single day, of more of your day to day. What consists, what are you doing today? Are you showing this home? What advice can you provide today? And then on a weekly, maybe at least 3 times, you should post an actual post. And what type of post? Well, we're gonna go dive into it as
Okay.
well,
I'll save those questions for later then.
which is right here. Content, right? What
Yes.
type of content does LinkedIn like? We're not gonna get into Instagram or Facebook because we're talking about LinkedIn today. But like most social media platforms, LinkedIn loves your content as long as it isn't post after post about your new listing or open houses, right? One of the biggest mistakes that agents use when posting on LinkedIn is they continually blast their newest listing. This is a great way to fail at LinkedIn for real estate because people are not there to see what you have for sale. That they can do that anywhere else through your email, through Zillow if they're really looking. So the audience on LinkedIn is primarily professionals who are looking for helpful content, not the next home they're going to buy. This is not Zillow, right? So post
So
content.
let me ask this. Let me interject here. So you're saying that, which is interesting, and I see it all the time. Contract accepted, just got a new listing, clear to close. You're saying all of that is great. Okay, you should obviously take a moment to say, hey, we made a good sale and it's been a record breaking month, XYZ. But what type of post would you recommend for real estate agents in terms of the content if it's not going to be that?
So what you should post is content that provides value, right?
Yeah.
So marketing tips or topics that might attract real estate consumers. So industry news, market reports, both local and national. If you have a blog, this is the perfect place to share your newest article because people really do read on LinkedIn. So they really, really, really take their time to read your post, to comment on it. This people that is used to reading and educating themselves. So what you need to do is educate them, right? I don't know if you guys can hear me or what happened here.
We can hear you.
Okay. So this is a place where you want to provide value. You want to educate. And then you want to know, you know what? I'm going to reach out to John because John really seems to know what he's talking about. You know, he's actually sharing value and there's things that he's saying that I didn't know. You know, nobody really cares about how many contracts you have, how many, because how does that benefit them? How? They're like, oh, good for you. You know, that's all they can say. But what value are you providing for posting that? There's no value there, right? So people like when you provide value and then it makes you look like the expert on your industry, in your industry and what you're doing, and you can provide things that they don't know. Then they know that you really know about your business. And since they see you constantly and they see you as a professional that provides value, that provides information, you're going to be the first one they're going to have in the top of their mind when they do decide to buy or sell, right? So it's definitely value and content that provides education. That is the type of things that you want to post on LinkedIn. So how do you generate free leads on LinkedIn, right? Let's get to business. How do you get clients from LinkedIn? How can you start growing your LinkedIn? And so before, obviously, you have to work on your content first to make sure that you have something to post. Second is start connecting with other peers, engage on other people's posts, hashtag. I mean, that's definitely something you need to do. Start connecting with the list that I gave you. You know, find home builders, find attorneys, find real estate inspectors, everything that has to do with your industry that could help you link or make a connection. Then go ahead and do that. Engage on other people's posts. Hashtag your life away. One of the best ways to get connections and high engagement on LinkedIn is by using targeted hashtags related to the post and the industry. So use hashtags. So here, what I do to not have a huge list of hashtags like they do on Instagram and on Facebook, what I do is I hashtag certain words throughout my article, right? So if I'm talking about buyers, I'll do hashtag buyer within the article. I'll hashtag the important words that I want to highlight and maybe add if there's none of the ones if there's extra ones that I want to use that were not written on my article, then I can use those 2, 3, 5 up to 5 hashtags at the end, but don't like spam them with all these hashtags, right? Just use them through your article and then have a few ones at the end. Okay, that's a good way to do it.
So 5 hashtags. You don't want to have like Instagram 20 hashtags,
You
15.
can have 20, 30 hashtags if you want, but throughout your article. You know how if you're going to write a whole article, you're going to hashtag the word buyer, the word home ownership, the word real estate, the word, here and there sporadically. But if there's extra hashtags that you want to use that you didn't get to use through your article, then you can do like up to 5 at the end, just so that there's not a bunch of list of hashtags at the end.
Got it. Got it. That's
Makes
interesting.
sense?
And so some of these apps that are out there too, folks, I just want to, relay a message here. There's a lot of applications that preset hashtags, and what Gabriella is saying is that she's literally cherry picking the word and the definition, and now she's using that as a hashtag, and that's going to help monetize her post. All right, so that is really that is amazing information right there. Is simply taking the time before you just randomly post and
Exactly.
really reading the article if you're going to post something about contact.
Right.
Here's another question that I have, which drives me up a freaking wall. I get, I want to say 50 direct messages a day on LinkedIn and solicitations on, hey, I think you're going to be a rock star. We want to help you out with this or that, or come join our
Lead
force.
that. Yep.
My question for you is, you mentioned engage on people's posts. That's different from direct messages, but
Yes,
it is
because
beneficial, direct messages, to engage with people privately as well.
yeah,
I guess how you must get a million of those since you have
I
10,000
do. Listen,
followers.
I get so many, and I get at least 100 requests per day, 50 to 100 requests, friend request. I mean,
And so what
connection.
do you do in that scenario? How are you even I think half the battle of social media is really in the engagement and responding to these people.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
You do have to schedule it in, it's like anything else. You do have to, if you want to do it at the end of the day, because you're so busy during the day, you're not gonna have time to be checking your LinkedIn or your Instagram. Put 30 minutes, 1 hour, whatever you want to start with each day, and schedule it wherever it fits better in your calendar. And go ahead and take the time though to add them into your post. It gets, because trust me, when I don't do it for like 5 days,
Yeah,
oh my God, then the list is crazy, and then it takes
really.
way more time, to for me to go through it and accept and reply. And right now I'm a little backed up, so it gets hectic. So the best way to do it is daily, get it out of the way. And you are gonna get a lot of recruiting and like lead. Can I provide this? Can I provide that? You don't have to engage with everybody. You don't have to reply to everybody. You can just skim them through, but read them, because sometimes that was a mistake that I made in the beginning. Like, look at all these messages, I just wouldn't open them and wouldn't read them. And then now that I go back and look, there were some people asking me about business. So you can miss out on business if you're not checking your inbox. You, like I said, you don't have to reply to everybody. You don't have to accept everybody. That's just trying to recruit and do other things. Just don't
Yeah,
focus your time there. But maybe out of the 10 that you received today, one is business.
yeah.
So
Just
just
like
check them out.
sports, Gabriella, offense and defense. And so post-in is offense, that's what I say, and defense
Right.
is engagement with your audience, which is very challenging. And I find it even more difficult on LinkedIn.
The
But in,
best people you want to connect with and engage with is the ones that you're requesting, because you know that you're being intentional on who you're adding, right?
got it.
So there's a way where you can set an automatic message so that it saves you time every time that you add somebody that introduces yourself, and be like, oh, thank you so much for the connection. I look forward to getting to know you better. Like just something really light, nothing, not trying to sell, not trying to do anything, just trying to make a genuine connection. And those people are the ones you want to connect back with. Of course, as your LinkedIn grows, because they're gonna get a repost, you're gonna get likes from other people and stuff like that. You're gonna get messages from other type of leads and clients that you cannot miss, like I said. But if you want to be intentional about who you're connecting with on LinkedIn, then that is a good way to set your auto message. That way, every time you personally request somebody, it sends them a message introducing yourself, saying a little bit about yourself.
So is
Okay.
that what you're doing? Are you doing a lot of auto messages afterwards?
I don't do a lot of auto messages. I don't, because I'm at a point where I don't even request many people right now. I just accept all the requests that I get. But if you're starting and you're starting to wanting to build your network, this is the way to do it. You know.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
So now you have to, like I said, post content that provides value. People on LinkedIn love to read. Trust me, they do read through your whole post article. I promise you, people that their comments are different than just the spams that they send you on Instagram. Like, oh, nice. Like if you use a certain hashtag, there's like bots that reply to you. Not on LinkedIn. They're really replying directly to what you're saying to your message, so you know they read it. Because they're talking about what you wrote. So it's not like a general reply. It's much about, oh, I agree with what you said, this and that. So it's like really you can tell that the people is reading your article. Now, of course, you want to establish yourself as your local or industry expert by providing specific updates and information. You want to connect your phone and email and your address to your address book and your profile, and add as many contacts as you can. That's another way to grow your following, your connection. Join LinkedIn groups and engage. If there's a niche that you specialize on, there's a group on LinkedIn. So try to look for it, and engage there. If there's let's say you specialize in waterfront homes, there's like a water sports group there, whatever, join it and engage in that group. You know that you're going to get leads that are specific to your niche in those type of groups. So do that. Post content and post consistently. Like I said, there are only a few agents taking advantage of what LinkedIn has to offer. So make sure you're one of them. Remember, you always want to be first and not the last to catch the wave, right?
I like that. That's the phrase of the day.
Go
Yeah, go back to that. I want to
back to that. Okay, okay, okay.
go back to that. I love that actually.
Okay.
Remember, you always want to be first, not last to catch the wave. Got it.
So that's pretty much it. All I have to share with you today. Of course, if you guys have any specific questions you would like to ask, go ahead and do that. Here is my information. If you want to save it or connect with me, there's my phone number, my email, my website, my Instagram, LinkedIn, and my Facebook.
Let me ask you a couple questions and then I'll open up to the audience. Out of all the platforms, I know this is pertaining LinkedIn, what do you think is the more beneficial platform in terms of your business? Where are you seeing the most revenue and ROI, I should say, on these platforms? LinkedIn?
Free, I would
Yeah.
say Instagram and LinkedIn, both. Paid, I have not really done paid leads on LinkedIn. I have not figured that out yet. I'm sure that there's much better. I just have not had the time to set apart to do it. But Facebook, um, paid paid leads, they're good. Um, in quantity, not always in quality. Like I
Yeah.
said, so I'm sure like quality leads, you can get better leads on LinkedIn, but
Yeah.
free for sure, free on LinkedIn and on Instagram is my go-to, my two go-to platforms.
And
It
then
also depends, I am a millennial, right? So Instagram is a great place for me. But if you have more personal connections on your Facebook, then maybe Facebook is the place for you. So it's more of who you um, network with and where. If you spend more time on Facebook, of course, Facebook is going to be your main source of leads. But for me, it's Instagram and LinkedIn.
for me too, Instagram and Facebook are my babies, and that really that brings a lot of leads in. It's funny, we just hired a new gal, and she's been here about 2 weeks. She posted on Facebook and just got a refinance from posting. So it's interesting. Social media, guys, you got to utilize social media. It's free, as Gary Vee says. I personally use all platforms. The only thing I don't use is Snapchat. But all of it is intertwined in one way, shape, or form, and it brings in a lot of leads. What Gabriella is saying, though, quantity over quality. There's a lot of pipe dreamers in those leads. So you've got to have automation also to weed out some of those leads. That's very important. She had a source of HubSpot. That's a CRM that we utilize on a daily basis, and that helps us screen some of these leads that come in. So it's very important. My last question is LinkedIn, being that it's 277% higher, that is, it's not really a question. I want to ask the audience, has anybody got any feedback from a LinkedIn lead? Because that's like staggering, 277% higher to convert rather than Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat. I think I got to switch marketing and push more towards LinkedIn, because now when it really digests in your mind, there's more of a professional lead base in there. And if it's $75,000 a year annual income, that's a very interesting fact. That's very important, especially in the state of Florida. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of inventory, but inventory supporting lower tax brackets is very difficult. These builders are building $500,000 homes. Very difficult to put someone in a $500,000 home making $35,000. So all of those analytics are very, very interesting. Does anybody have any questions? Angie, Barry, anybody?
I do. Gabriella, question. I'm sorry, the volume is way up there. I saw your reaction. Have you had any experience using Sales Navigator? You brought up it's great to connect with builders, but getting to, let's say, a sales director or somebody of influence is kind of tough. And I believe Sales Navigator, it's almost they have to accept your invitation or respond to it or something like that. I don't know. I haven't used it before, but that's what I've read.
Sales Navigator, I have not used it, but personally on LinkedIn, you know, what I have done is when I find somebody and they tell me, oh, this and such person is the CEO of this, or he's the go-to person for this and that. Then I go on LinkedIn and add them. They do have to accept you, the connection, right? But
Mhm.
most do. Most do. At least for me, that has worked. And then you can start there. And you know, just like I said, it's not a selling point, so you don't want to just go ahead dive in right into business because nobody has. You know, if you hit me up about if somebody solicits you all the time, you're gonna be like, oh my god, I don't want to talk about it. You know, so you have to build that personal connection first with them. And you know, I just wanted to introduce myself. I saw, you know, I've heard so great things about you, this and that, and started that connection. Hit them up next week. You know, how was your week? Oh, I want to share this article with you. I just created, put it this or that. You know, they're gonna be okay. You know, I see that she's different than the average agent. She's actually providing value. She knows what she's talking about. You know, so that would definitely help in building connections with those type of people.
No, also to elaborate on that's a great recruiting tool. It's an amazing recruiting tool, and it allows you to get all their information as well. So if you're building a list and you want to really cherry pick real estate agents or lenders or whoever you're trying to focus, wherever your pinpoint is that's what's going to allow you to have a CSV file or an Excel spreadsheet, and that's what you can market. But
Another thing that is also great to know is you can filter a lot of your search in LinkedIn is pretty good. When you look, you can look for, let's say you want to focus on people that work at the Miami port, right? Then so you can look for people that work at the Miami port. You can pick the positions you want to target to. You can pick, and they'll come up with a list of the people that work there. You want to target to specific people that work in a different in a banking section, and wherever, you know, whatever it is that you want to target, you can really look it up by company, by position. There's so many filters that are great that you can use to make those connections.
Yeah,
interesting.
where I saw a little bit of success, which is tremendous success, is a realtor partner that I work with often. What he was able to do was use Sales Navigator to send his content to a builder and work his way in to be the listing agent for all of their spec homes.
And how does that work? You know, you are sending every real, they know there's a bunch of realtors. Who do they pick? You know, how do you show them how you're different than others? You know, that's just by providing value.
But he
Providing
was
value.
able to get a response from the sales director for the entire state, and it started from there. Now, it wasn't overnight. The process took him 6 months of,
Wow.
of going through it. But you know what, Anthony, we saw, I mean, the gentleman will probably do close to 100 million this year.
Yeah.
So,
See?
you
So
know, it's
is that connection, and what did he do? Nothing crazy, right? He put the time and effort of the
that's
content
it.
he was already putting out there. He was
Man.
just what intentional. He was intentional with what he was doing.
And
Genuine.
Recently, I don't
it
remember
wasn't
that.
overnight. It was a systematic process of staying with it.
Being
That's it.
persistent, being persistent. We always talk about that. Melinda, myself, is setting proper expectations, and not what you say, how you say it, your delivery, and being persistent on anything you do. Um, very, very interesting stuff. You've got my head spinning. Honest to God, the content is key, guys. It really is key, and it's not overnight. I know Noel and I are doing this right now, focusing on certain specific agents, but setting up automation. And the content takes time. I know that we did this, Marilyn, we did this for your renters as well. We set up a little automation thing, but we should continue to do that because that's a great target as well, focusing on renters and setting up that content. But out of all of this, okay, setting up your account, number one, that's what you should do. If you don't have an account on LinkedIn, on all platforms, you really should have an account, period. And there's no excuse for that, millennial or not. You definitely want to get exposure. Number two, LinkedIn 277% higher conversion rate, which is staggering. That number is mind blowing compared to, I think I saw 0.7 or 0.98 on Instagram and Facebook. So the professionalism on LinkedIn is higher, the median income is higher, and your audience has a better attention. The content, out of all of this asterisk, the content is key. So what are you going to deliver? That's what you need to think as an agent, a lender, whomever is conducting business, is really taking that content and spending time on it and not just throwing something out there. The value proposition, what are you bringing to the table? How are you different than any other real estate agent or lender in the business? This is
And
all
remember,
great stuff.
I would like to add, you know, when you, if you're a real estate agent or you're in real estate, you know that you either have time or you have money, right? So if you're starting and you have time,
Like that.
then go ahead and dive in. Like, you know, create your posts, create your content, build that content, educate yourself as you do so, because you got time. If you don't got time but you have money, you can always leverage and hire somebody that can do that for you. There's many agencies that can create content for you if you don't have the time, you know, or you're not that techie or that you don't, I don't know what should I write about. There's companies that specialize on that. So if you have the time, go ahead, and that's going to help you educate yourself and post at the same time and create content. If you don't have the time but you do have the money, go hire somebody else and leverage your business. You know, it's all about leverage. Always we got to use leverage our business. Where do we put our time? Where do we put our money? And go ahead and do it. You know, this is
Love
something you
that.
always want to establish yourself as the expert in your market. So go ahead and do something different, different than what everybody else is doing. You know, provide different content, provide different value, provide, show them what you do. If you have a specific niche that you specialize on, then go ahead and talk about it. You know, educate your people about it, and that's how you bring value to other people's life, and
And,
they'll
and,
see
and
that you
what
are
you're
actually valuable.
passionate about, right, Gabriella? You have to be passionate about what your content. It's funny, you mentioned two things, and Melinda and I always also talk about this as well, is we still post our own content, okay? And now I have a wonderful gal in the Ukraine that helps me out, but that took a while. And her mind is just similar to mine, and talk about creativity and the content that's posted. But yes, you can delegate certain tasks, but if it's not your true self posting that stuff, make sure you're passionate about what you're doing. Number one, number two, your content, it shows who you are, what you're posting. I continue to this day, every single night I do 3 posts, and I have that for every single morning, and I am continuously doing that. That is me posting every single morning because I wake up very early. But I wanted to hold that because it's part of me and who I am. And one day I might delegate that portion of it. Maybe I won't, but I don't feel like it's a true message if I'm not delivering it. I feel like a lot of agents, they get really mentally drained after a couple of posts or a couple of weeks or months. Guys, what Gabriella is saying is that it's persistence. She says 5 hashtags, and she says 4 posts. And that's content, but what's the content? That's what everyone gets stuck up on. What is
Consistent, you know.
it? Being
Consistency
consistent.
is key. Like you would say, you know, of course, consistency is key, and not only that, but the content, like we were talking about, is more important than the amount of times that you post. Because, like I said, you know, you can get 5 just sold under contract, just listed posts that nobody really cares about, nobody's really gonna read, rather than she's giving me value. You know, she's giving me stats of the market. Why is the market gonna crash? Is the market water? You know, like all the projections. How is the pandemic affecting real estate? That's what people want to know, right? That's what people are gonna read. They're not
Yeah.
gonna read and engage to your just listed, just sold, unless they like the house. They're like, oh, this is a pretty nice house, nice. They like it. But what value are you providing? What content? You know, that's
You know,
consistent.
I've struggled, if I can add to that, with coming up with content in the past. And I found what the best thing that I came up with was some of the failures or the glitches or things that we had issues with. A lot of times we can't really write it, but when we express and we hear it, one, we become better at it ourselves, but give an insight to a buyer of what to avoid. I experienced this, and now here's the way we got through it. It doesn't have to be a long, overblown, windy, thing. It could be a 2-minute, a 1-minute, or a 3-minute explanation what to avoid as my buyers. And eventually you start having a library of 10, 20, 30 episodes, and you don't have to recreate the content, because episode 20, you can go back and post that, right? down the road, and before you know it, you're always posting because you have your own library of content.
Yep.
And I, as a realtor, the landmines to sidestep as a buyer, and your experience could be with a lender in the past where they're maybe their credit or title or what have you, and you've explained how you fixed that as a realtor. You're showing your expertise and you're building your content library.
Exactly, that is exactly correct. And also, video is another great way to provide content. If you don't want to really write everything, but you know what you're saying, then you can record yourself and post a video. I do a video every week. It's on Mondays. I have a video that I put out. It's called "Let's Talk About Real Estate Mondays," right? And so I talk about a different thing every Monday, and I post a
Love
video
it.
that has information, and then they know that every Monday they're gonna get that. They might look at
Exactly.
and you
Love
can,
that.
yeah, and then also you can build your channel that way. So you can incorporate YouTube, and then you can upload those videos into YouTube and you create your channel. So they later on you have a library he was saying of content that you can go back to,
Yep.
and talk about and
And
reference.
start a watch party. Do like a watch party or what we're doing on
And keep the content short, right? So that it isn't like this, big process for somebody to tune in
Yeah,
and
videos don't last more than a minute.
that's it. That's it.
Short, sweet, to the point.
Give a tip to solve a problem.
To watch anyway,
Yeah.
just short to the point, but a clear message.
That's it.
That's all.
awesome content, man. I appreciate you coming on the show. Guys, we're going to send out in 24 hours all of Gabriella's information and a piece of content like we always do, Melinda, myself. And those of you that are joining late, Gabriella is a queen on LinkedIn, and Melinda obviously is not here. She's enjoying her family time with her loved ones in Siesta Keys. So I definitely kudos for her, much deserved. But thank you so much for allowing us to interview you and showing how valuable LinkedIn is. I mean, guys, I've learned a lot. I've got 9 things written down here that I'm going to start implementing myself. And those of you that are just tapping into LinkedIn, you need to get on, man. You need to get on social media. This is where our business is going to. And don't be fearful of the camera and don't be fearful of what you're going to post. Just post and post something that you're going to be really passionate about. That's basically what Gabrielle is saying here. So any questions before we let go? JP, thank you. Great stuff.
Thank you, JP.
Anybody else? Let me look on Facebook just before.
I have one question.
Go ahead. You're gonna do
The profile
session?
No, I don't know if it's a stupid question, but your profile is supposed to be written in first person or third person? Because I just feel weird talking about myself in third person.
You could do it.
But I see most of them.
If you feel like I want to talk from my experience, I feel like I want to talk in first person because I feel like I'm connecting with you. Like if it's my website or like something where you can have a bio about yourself, then you can do it in third person. But in social media, I like to do it personally and in first person because I'm introducing myself to you. Like I'm telling you, oh, okay, I'm Gabriella. I do this, I do that, not somebody else. Because when you do it in third person, they feel like somebody else is running your page. So it's a little bit less personal. So I want to do it that way.
That's a great question. A great question. I would think first person in the beginning, maybe 6 months to a year, or maybe push third person at the end. I don't know. I do a mix.
Yourself and you're like, like they need to know who you are. They probably know that you're not running your page and stuff like that. And go on third person, that's more for like the type of, bigger audience, celebrity type of thing. But, or like even your website, of course you want to like reference yourself as an expert. So they're talking to you in third person. But on social media platforms that are making personal connections, I like to start with first person.
Question, do you suggest LinkedIn Premium? If so, JP asked us, do you suggest LinkedIn Premium?
You can, but you gotta make sure that there's LinkedIn Gold. I have not used it because I don't have the need to. Like I honestly don't feel like I have the need to. If you're gonna dive deep into it, then yes, at some point you should get it, but you should know what you're doing, because if not, it's just a waste of money. You know, I feel like you should really tackle it down to LinkedIn 101, you know, of how it is, everything free and how it runs smoothly. And then you can step it up a notch and go gold. But this is more for like recruiters.
Yeah.
You know?
I was just going to say
People
that.
are trying to
That's an
recruit,
amazing
they're trying to
recruiting.
you know, they go gold because they can send the same message to multiple people, blah, blah, all these things that you want for more of a bigger target audience, you know? So that's more of what it is. Like a lot of recruiters use gold because they can pull a list and reach out to everybody without restrictions and stuff like that. That's more, it depends on what you're trying to use LinkedIn for.
Yeah, different areas not restricted where the connections. Yeah, that's JP. You're right on that, man. You know, it's really good because
Exactly.
you can target market.
Restricted.
Yeah, target marketing is key as well, especially if you can pinpoint if they're making $75,000 or more, guys. So that's good stuff. All right, awesome. Thank you so much. I'll end it there. And those of you that did not see our content, it will be posted tomorrow. And thank you so much, Gabrielle. I appreciate you.
Before you run off, I want to thank you for the invitation to this meeting. I'm in the computer service business. I'm also a CFO for a real estate company that has dealt with you guys. But this is a unique experience. I can't wait to get to work on my LinkedIn account. I've had one for years, never really got active with it. And after this information, I'm anxious to jump on it. Awesome. A little feedback on this Zoom meeting. I'm in Zoom meetings all the time, but this one was rather unique because I had to keep my hand on the volume button. Gabriella had a normal volume. It's down a little lower. You have to crank it up a little bit to hear Gabriella. But then when you do that, you guys at TAG, especially you, Anthony, when you chime in, it's almost enough to break glass.
You know, well, Ken, you know what?
I want to know.
Ken, I want to know if you're wearing your bathing suit with that background.
Actually, I just threw on a nice shirt. I've worked on that background, just making some videos, putting some data on there, and it just recently, and I was in a chamber meeting just recently, and I had just designed that just on the spur of the moment, and I got half a dozen people that want me to design backgrounds for their Zoom.
I love it. I love it.
Good, man. I like that. I noticed that the whole time. I can see it. It's great branding, man. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for attending, DC, and thank you for your questions. All right, guys. This is a wrap, man.
Anthony, and
thank you so much.
Melinda. I'm glad that she's taking much needed vacation time.
Oh, yeah.
Nice job, Gabriella.
Thank you for having me, and thank you everybody for tuning in. I appreciate all of you.
Take care. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.